the fact that we have Steve Olszewski from Internet 2 and George Lascaris from NJ Edge. Maybe what we could do is just shuffle the schedule a little bit and invite them to come up and talk for a few minutes about what we've been doing, for several years, but recently we've gained a lot of traction in thinking about how to actually deploy federated identity and access management into K-12. So I'll go ahead and turn it over to George.
I need backup on it. Okay. I was going to sort of pick things up from the Quilt in Common workshop that was held in February. I think, James, you've probably been giving some updates along the way. But we had a workshop on this very topic with members of InCommon and regional networks that were very interested and have been having discussions for a while about how to extend InCommon to more constituents within the state. Currently, the way InCommon got its start was really from the core members of Internet 2, which was the higher education institutions and predominantly the R1s. But many regional networks serve diverse constituencies, including K through 12 and community colleges, and there really wasn't, we needed to extend the capabilities of InCommon in order to do that, and there had been some discussions. For instance, in the metadata that's used for federated identity, there is no metadata currently for K through 12, and so we really have to extend the sort of edge-a-person schema to include characteristics and attributes of K through 12s. And there's been a number of discussions about that. So essentially at this workshop that we held back in February, we explored a lot of those topics. And we talked about, we had a technical group and a sort of an administrative policy group. And we really got into the details of what would be required in order to extend InCommon so that previously InCommon did some things which would now, and at the basis of the model is that would be extended to regional networks, that they would take on those roles and responsibilities, because there's no way that InCommon could really scale if you look at the number of K through 12 districts that are out there. So, but it seemed a natural place for regional networks to take up that charge because most of them do serve those constituencies today. And so we got into, in the workshop, some discussions about what are the types of federation models that would be required. And the technical group came up with 3 that seemed most appropriate to be deployed in regional networks. And depending on the characteristics of that state and their own politics, one model was better, let's say, than another. And that's how they came up with the 3. And at the end of the workshop, we really asked for some volunteers to keep the dialogue going. And we ended up with 3 working groups. A technical group that dug into the federation details that would be required to develop them a bit more. There was an administrative policy subgroup to explore what are some of the roles and responsibilities that regional networks would have to take up and take responsibility for. And we had a pilot definition group because I think we felt very strongly that in order to, we need to do some proof of concepts. Concept that, are these the right models? So we had a lot of discussions. Then we did a call for proposals, and we asked for people to volunteer that were interested in doing some pilot projects in this space so that we could test some of the models and do some proof of concept. And initially, we wanted to do deployment in the fall for these, and that was very important. So there wasn't a lot of time, so we sort of constructed a kind of a lightweight and iterative process where I guess it was just last week, we had a community call with, we did receive 10 proposals. We're very pleased that there was that much interest in this project from about 10 different states and locations, and I'll go through those in a moment. And it was really quite an interesting community call when each of those areas described their proposal, what they wanted to do, what types of applications they wanted to deploy for K through 12 that would require federated identity management. And so we're very pleased with that. And of the 10, I think about 9, because of the time frame, said There was one that basically said, we're not ready to do something that quickly, there's more work to do, but we'd like to stay engaged with the process to sort of learn what's learned in this whole thing. And so we got proposals from Utah, MD Ren in Maryland, NCSA in Illinois, Merit in Michigan, Alaska, Nebraska, MCNC in North Carolina, WisNet in Wisconsin, although they still need to work out some of the details in Wisconsin about if they can get all the participation they want. And ORNet in Ohio. So we had quite a range there and a lot of interest in deploying this because I think everyone feels that this is some critical cyber infrastructure that will enable us to do a lot of other things. The pilots may be focused on a single district, but there'll be a second round of pilots announced in the fall for more ambitious projects. They might take, if they did something with one K-12 district, they might want to roll it out to more and eventually the entire state. Some of the, like Nebraska and Illinois, it's very ambitious goals and objectives they have for what's starting in a pilot. I think in Illinois, they're part of the In Bloom initiative. I don't know how many of you are familiar with that, but they're going to be one of the first round pilots of In Bloom. And so that's going to target. Others have lots of applications that they're interested in. And one of the things that Internet 2 is doing for us, it sort of sweeten the pot, so to speak, is that for some of these pilots, they're going to make available some of the Net Plus applications at either basically free for the terms of the pilot. And so we're having discussions with each of the pilot proposals about which applications from Internet 2 are they most interested in. Obviously, at the end of the pilot, there would be some arrangement, and we'd know what those details are when we start things off. So at this point, we're just having one-on-one discussions with each of the proposed pilots. We're refining details. We're going to end up with either a memorandum of understanding or a project description that would define the expectations of both parties. Be glad to take any questions. Well, these projects are going to begin in September, but in the fall we're going to announce a second round of pilots. Again, there were some that were very interested, but yet we're not ready at this point in time and wanted some more. And also, the target of the second round is projects that would be a little more ambitious than these initial pilots.
How is that information sent out?
We plan to publish this. We want to learn from this experience, so we're going to, I think broadly, I think when we've solidified the pilots, there'll be sort of a blast of information. We could certainly include the K-20 initiative. And as we learn from the pilots, we want to publish that information as well so that future pilots can learn lessons learned and carry them forward.
So Federation will be part, like in all the 9 projects, Federation will be one component of it.
That's
And there may be other services, Net Plus services on top of that? Is that what they submitted for the pilot?
Yes. I mean, either they had certain applications in mind already, but they'd have an opportunity to add some Net Plus services to that as well. So again, whatever is needed in that particular state. There was a wide range of things. There's other K-12 resources that are available. Can't remember what they're all called, but some of them require federated access. In some cases, it might be video information, it's licensing information, so you have to do authentication. But again, this is underlying infrastructure that hopefully will extend to a wide range of services that regional networks provide. And so that's it. Any other questions? Okay. Well, thank you.
Thanks very much.